Thank you. I hope everyone had a great lunch and a great morning session. I hope you've been able to make some connections with the people around you. My name's Johnny Reardon, and I'll be your MC for this afternoon's Share Fair presentations. So the goal of the Share Fair, as we know, is to think about ideas following the living local and going global theme that could promote your own school and promote other schools into doing these activities and events and things that you've prepared for us. And so also we hope that these presentations in the assembly will give you new ideas for activities that you can do in your own school. They're all meant to be shared, to be extended to where you are. You can talk to these people after, you can ask them questions. So it's a very interactive assembly, and also hopefully it just helps you to grow an awareness of what's happening in other schools in Virginia and how you can get involved. So first up, from Alta Vista High School, we have Charlie, Quentin, Charlotte, Trent, Kylie, Hannah, and Maggie, and they're presenting their Powder Puff for Charities. So can we have a round of applause for them?
Good afternoon, I'm Quentin Monroe and I'm from Alta Vista. We come from a very small school, but we like to get involved with our community. We are the National Junior Honor Society of Alta Vista, and we're here to tell you about our project called Powder Puff.
Last year in 2016, is it, can you guys hear me? Yeah. Okay.
Is the red light on?
Yes. Last year in 2016, we hosted our first Powder Puff event, but it's not like regular Powder Puff games. We donated all the money we got from tickets to charities, the Claire Parker Foundation, and the Relay for Life Foundation. Our junior and senior classes were split up, and they played against each other. And with the $900 we raised, we split it half and half. It really brought our community together, gave a chance for our small businesses to sell, and just was a good community bonding thing.
Team Relay is made up of our junior class at Alta Vista High School. Last year, our junior class dominated our senior class, like, so sad. As you can see, our junior class at the bottom left of the corner. Kayla Robinson said, "My overall feeling of the Powder Puff game was that I was very excited and happy. It was very fun playing for my classmates and best friends. It was a great, very competitive game. I love that about it. I would definitely encourage more people to do it. It was very fun, and Powder Puff is a memory I will never forget." Kayla Robinson is the girl right here in the top right corner. Relay for Life was formed by the American Cancer Society. Every year, people gather and celebrate and honor those who have survived at their local Relay for Life celebration. Since 1946, Relay has invested more than $4 billion in research grants. And there's booths and stuff set around the whole track, and you just walk around. Yeah.
Team Claire is made up of our seniors. So this was like the other charity that we were helping donate to as well. So it has singer Mara Cheek said, "The Powder Puff game was so amazing. I had an absolute blast playing with my classmates and friends. It made my senior year even better. I really hope that the Powder Puff game continues to be a tradition at Alta Vista. I hope that all of the juniors and senior girls play because memories that I will never forget."
What is the Claire Parker Foundation? Jordan and Connie Parker are the founders of the Claire Foundation, as those are the two pictured holding the baby. The two married young and had a child, but they lost her to infantile acute lymphoblastic leukemia just after she was 10 months in 2014. The couple, in their efforts to help other families, they want to they created a foundation to help others who need emotional support and economic support while they're trying to battle with their kids the same type of pediatric cancer or any other cancers they might have. Their goal was to eventually partner with many hospitals, and as many hospitals on the East Coast, which they will work towards by adding 5 hospitals to their partnership every 10 years.
So at halftime, since the Claire Parker Foundation is something unique to Alta Vista and something that's kind of close to our hearts, at halftime we had Kicks for Claire, which was a fundraiser where you donated $1 and you got to kick the football to see if you made it through the field goal. And if you got it, if there's an organization that might want to help you out, we had the National Guard and they donated prizes and rewards, which was another incentive for people to go out there. So as you can see right here, this is our principal, Mr. Gafford, having a blast, doing Kicks for Claire's, having a good time.
Okay, so what does this all mean? Well, our community came together for this, and it really raised lots of money for these 2 societies that have more reach than our small town does. So these societies had the power to bring money and financial support and research to cancer, and, well, not fund cancer, obviously, but it did help to support lots of families beyond our little community and around the world. So if you wanted to bring this to your school, you could do this in many different ways. You don't have to do a cancer society. You could do other charities. And these are just a really wonderful way to raise money and use your small communities, if you have a small community, to do a lot of good.
So some of the ways that we helped donate was every admission into the game, you got one of these bracelets, and so that was kind of your ticket in. All the donations of the admission, was donated. We also had these shirts. You could choose to be Team Junior or Team Senior, and then they have each of the profits from the shirt also went to help each charity. And then also one way you can make this more of a football game, a really exciting event, is we made these posters for them to run out to. That way, it still stays exciting. It's still a fun thing to do. So this is what we had for the juniors to run out to. Score for a Cure, class of 2019. So that gets everybody really excited. It reminds them the purpose. It's just a lot of fun, making them and being a part of all of this, which is why, we kind of wanted to introduce all of this to you as well. Are there any questions? Yeah.
So how did the powder puff game work? It was flag football?
Yeah, it's flag football, and so basically we had the guys as the cheerleaders, and we had some vendors set up around us as well. We had a Mary Kay vendor, and so they helped put the makeup on the guys, get their tutus ready to cheer on the girls. And so they had flag football, especially some of them who deeply wish they could play football. Definitely had a blast doing everything. Yeah.
Was that part of your Spirit Week?
It was not a part of our Spirit Week. We just did it. It was kind of one of our fall events, and so something I guess that would be a good thing, to lead up to your Spirit Week. That would be a good idea too.
And did y'all do it on the football field, or did y'all have another field that y'all did it on?
Oh, we did it on the football field. We had everybody sitting in the stands. We had it we try to treat it like a real football game because, that's the one time a lot of people come out and the stands are packed, and we wanted to do the same thing, but just kind of focus the perspective of it to a good cause.
Any more questions?
All right, thank you guys. Next up, we have from Charlottesville High School, Gabriel, Alina, Austin, and Amdan. Let's give them a round of applause.
Okay, hi, we're from Charlottesville High School, and we're just gonna present to you guys some of the things that we do to promote inclusive community. So one of the classes I take at Charlottesville High School is called Becoming a Global Citizen, and it's a student-led democratic-style classroom, which means that the students basically come up with all of the rules and what we're gonna learn about. And the lessons are discussion-based and focused on activism, social justice, and human rights. And that's our class website, and you can see it on the flyer too. So something that BGC did was the We Are campaign, and its purpose was to represent many different identities of the students at CHS. So I'll show you some examples on the next slide. And they're also But we got together after school one day and we just like covered this entire wall with those posters. So. And then We the People, a Charlottesville celebration, is another thing that the Becoming a Global Citizen class did. And it was a local festival to reclaim the Charlottesville identity with local musicians and speakers. It was a lot of fun. There was the flyer, and that's what it looked like. So. As you can see, Becoming a Global Citizen is like a really big part of CHS and the promotion of diversity and equality.
Yeah. So we also have artwork made by our students that, well, diversity artwork. It promotes diversity throughout our school, and it's hung up basically everywhere. You turn a corner and there's a new art piece, and it's really beautiful and unique and special to all of us. And I think there are some examples on the next slide. Yeah, so we have these in the atrium. We have posters hung up with students that have descriptive words, and I think there's another slide with pictures, and that's my favorite. I don't know why, but it just is my favorite. And it's very special and unique to all of us at CHS, and we just really love our artwork.
Another thing about that is that anyone can come do it. Like we had workshops after school to paint letters, so it's really for everyone at CHS. And these are some examples of the art class students and what they did, and they're going to be hung up, I think, this week or next week. So.
All right. At our school, we have something called Step Up, and it is a women's rights activist club. And recently, they what did they do? I'm sorry, I can't remember everything. It's coming off from here. Recently, they have started to inform us a lot more during the morning announcements. They have basically facts and other kinds of daily information that gets us really involved in the process of improving women's rights, and they meet every Wednesday. They're sponsored by SARA, the Sexual Assault Resource Agency in Charlottesville, and it is a very helpful program.
Also, another big thing they did 2 years ago was change the dress code and the wording to make it less sexist, because there were some concerns from the student body that the dress code was just for women, but so now it's more equal. They also screen documentaries during lunch, which is really helpful, and they work with many different speakers and other organizations, so they're always there, ready to help you, and you can talk to any of them. And they also were featured on NBC 29 recently, so there's a link right there, or you can just Google it.
Also, last but not least, International Club. So it's a club that provides an opportunity for every student to celebrate and embrace diversity, and also to expose to different and various cultures. And some of the key events that we have is we also have annual assembly that it's in March, and we also hold potlucks after school, so that to give an opportunity for every student to bring their traditional food and share with everyone. That's a really good exposure for other students to be more acceptance of students that are in our school. And we also offer free tickets for students that participated in our potlucks to the home football games. And we also celebrate holidays from different nations that our student body represent. So, to the right, you see the picture of students after the diversity assembly dressed in traditional clothes. And here are some more pictures of it. On to the left, you see we had a spirit week for the diversity assembly. We had hennas, so we offered like free henna at our school. And in the middle, you see that the students after school came to celebrate Holi. That it's celebrated mostly in India and Nepal and Asian countries. And to the right, you see Nepali students dressed in traditional clothes after the diversity assembly.
Another after-school club we have is Prism, and it's run by LGBTQ students. It's mainly like a support system and a safe space. They present something in the diversity assembly every year, which is good. And one of their big events this year, well, not really an event, but like a big thing that happened was they transformed one of the teacher bathrooms into a gender-neutral bathroom, which is pretty new, but it's good. And that's their Twitter handle too for updates. I think that's all we had. But at CHS we also have like SCA and Amnesty International and a bunch of other clubs too. This is just like major things.
Thank you.
Does anyone have any?
So I go to Western and I remember like seeing posts about you guys doing this and really wanting to bring it to Western, but it was really difficult because we don't have the diverse population that you guys have. So do you guys have any suggestions for how we might make something like this appeal to our much less diverse population?
Make something like
how we could adapt this into our population?
I mean, just because that they're not like super diverse races doesn't mean there's not super diverse ideologies. So maybe during lunches there could be things like that, and anything that just like brings the community together. Like we had a fall festival sponsored by SCA last week, and so many different types of people came, and mainly because it was right before the Monticello football game. And so it was like right after school, so there was still after-school transportation for ESL students and immigrants who don't necessarily have after-school transportation. So maybe you could do something like that. Like it's really timing. It's really important.
Yeah. Also, I would say that because like I know like some of the schools are not really diverse, but like you can hold events just to give exposure to students, like even if they're not diverse, because it's gonna help them to be more acceptance. Because like they might not see students diverse in school, but they might see in the community. So it will give them like a good sense of being acceptable in the community.
So you guys touched on your with your international club, your annual diversity assembly. What do you do at that?
So in the diversity assembly, we have dances from any students that in our school represent. For example, we have Nepali dances or Indian dances or Bollywood, and we also have poetry and other stuff that students are more passionate about to bring in, and that is more related to diversity. And we also had a fashion show. So like at the end of every diversity assembly, we had students dressed up in their traditional clothes, and they came and showed it to every other students. And last year, because of the Islamophobia, a lot of things were happening, so I created a documentary about Muslim students, and I showcased it in the diversity assembly, so that was like a really good exposure to other students as well. So those are the main things that we do mostly.
So you guys talked about, especially with the step-up clubs, bringing documentaries during lunch. How long are your lunch periods? Are you able to do that?
They're 26 minutes long, so it's not very long at all. But I know that they just show like parts of it, and they have meetings. Mostly, they could also be after school too. It's just I know of the ones that were shown at.
You said for the, I think it was Holi, I think it was called, for the holiday that you celebrated. So I know like I feel like if we tried something at Western, there would be a lot of like people would they would be like, we can do this, why can't we celebrate Christmas? Did that happen at your school, and if so, like how did you handle that?
Well, it didn't really happen because we celebrate like all the holidays that our student body represent. So it was actually more fascinating for other students. And we had a lot of students, not only like ESL or like immigrant students, we also had other mainstream students that they came and celebrated with us together. That was actually really fun. That was like the most biggest turnout that we had for the international club.
Also, there's like a large population that is like supportive of it, and so it wasn't really meant to be like I don't know, attacking any other religion. I know how it could like seem like that, but since there are like a lot of music like that all day.
With your public events, how do you, what's your attendance like at those events, and what do you do to promote those events and get people there?
So we send a lot of things out on morning announcements and Canvas. I'm not sure if anyone uses Canvas, but that's really helpful. We also make flyers and get them stamped and hand them out. And then I post a lot on Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat. And it's really just like telling your friends and telling your friends. Like for the fall festival, we had a pretty large turnout, like compared to what we thought. And also, free food always attracts people. And we got moon bounces, so things like that that are like fun and engaging, and some like things that like people could think are a little bit childish, but like usually draw a lot of attention.
Great job, guys. Thank you. Okay, so next up from James Monroe High School, we have Ryan and Alicia. Let's give them a round of applause.
Thank you. So we're presenting on our Homecoming Spirit Week. So like how we related this to like our going global. Next slide, sorry. Okay. Our theme this year for our homecoming was Jackets in the Caribbean. So this was just after our island nations were devastated by the hurricane season. So we related it to that. And how we helped them out is we had Jackets Unite for the Caribbean, and it was a donations drive. So one of our teachers organized that, and we had like an outpour of students willing to help and donate things to that. So yeah, and then, okay, yeah, so that's that. And then, so Monday was our movie Monday. We had a ton of participation from this, and we chose the movie theme because of like our Pirates in the Caribbean like spin-off theme. Tuesday we did Tropical Tuesday again, like raising awareness, and we still like had a lot. And it was easy to like do these themes because they're typical homecoming Spirit Week themes that we just were able to adapt to raise more awareness.
The next one. Our next one was the Color War Wednesday. We usually do Color War every Spirit Week to basically get, each level grade to basically, war with each other, saying, hey, we're better, and all that stuff. We like competition. Seniors, always seniors. So, always. So, we did Color War, of course, Wednesday.
And then going into our next slide, we do our Powder Puff game that night. So each grade level, the reason why we do Color War that day is because then we are able to wear our colors that night to our Powder Puff game and be like associated as a team. So this year was our first year in a long time that we actually had our football boys cheering for us. So that was pretty exciting. The cheerleaders trained them, and then they were like stunting at our Powder Puff game. So that was pretty cool. I'll share that later. But yeah, so we do this every year, and we do the first 3 quarters, I think. Yeah, first 3 quarters Wednesday night, and then during our pep rally on Friday, we have the final quarter to see like who actually wins. So that's pretty exciting. So Thursday we did Throwback Thursday, and each grade level was assigned a decade. So that was really fun to see everybody dressed up. Yeah, so each class was just assigned a grade level, or a decade. So Spirit Day, this is like the best. We get out of class at 11:15, and then we go to like our inflatables and like a dunk tank and stuff like that SCA's rented for the day. And then that picture on the bottom, a bunch of our dads did a funnel cake booth. So they were like bringing the community to JM. And that was really fun to see our dads doing that. And then, so each grade level has been making a float for like a month before. And then our administrators make one as well. So it's like a huge competition to see who makes the best float. And then this picture is some of our teachers, and they go around and they grill on the back of their float, and they hand out food to members of the community and give them that. And so then there's points for who wins. And then this is just a video for you guys to watch from 2012. So our school isn't at, our stadium isn't at our school. So we live in like a city, and they're like on two separate ends of our city. So we start our Friday at our school, and then we ride our floats to the stadium and have our pep rally there. So it's like a huge deal. Like we've been doing this for like forever. So like the parents and like little siblings and stuff will like miss school that day to like watch their older siblings. Like they'll sit on the road that we go down and watch. So that gets everyone really involved. And like parents DJ on floats. Like it really like just brings everybody in the community in and really changes a lot for us. Do you want to?
Okay, so when we actually get to the stadium, we have a pep rally. Usually the sports will be on the other side. Everybody else will be actually in the stadium, and they will have banners, and each sport will run through the banner. Usually what is like football, cheerleading.
Just all of our fall sports.
Fall sports. So they will run through, then we'll have contests like pie eating, we have relay races, then we, like Brian said, we finish our, Powerpuff game. We finish that, and then we usually have cheerleaders perform, and then sometimes we have cheer battles against JV and varsity.
Yeah, and also our teachers really get involved. Usually they'll choreograph a surprise, like a dance for us, and they'll perform that at our pep rally. So that's really cool to see too, like them getting involved. And now this is pictures from our dance. Those are our amazing sponsors. And
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
The dance, we just set up, so that's like Pirates of the Caribbean from this year. So that was our like ship that the court walked through. So then, I'm sure you guys understand the dance part of that, because everyone has one, but yeah, so that is our Spirit Week. Any questions now? No. Yeah.
So how do you guys maximize your participation during pep rallies?
So recently, like I know we've identified it as an issue of ours. We have like it's been lacking, so we're trying to figure that out ourselves. But we have like a lot of things to get them in, like into the pep rally, like for like our relays and stuff like that. Like we'll pull people from the audience, and then we have these things called classifieds. So like during like dead time in the pep rally, the MC will be like, oh, like if you have a JM shirt, a tutu, chapstick, and an iPhone 8, like come down and you'll get a prize. Then like they're like racing to get all these things and like running down to like get a prize. So that's really cool to see because seriously, like I MC the pep rallies and I know like our twins from JM like literally pushed me down because they were like trying to beat each other. So that gets a lot of crowd participation. Anything else? Yeah.
How big is y'all's school? Like
we have 1,000 kids, just over 1,000. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. No, so it's just like because we have like our class sponsors, so it's like the class does it after school. Like there'll be times designated to that, but it's not during school hours. And then like during when everyone's like doing all the blow up stuff. That's when they like put them together finally because the trailers don't arrive until that afternoon. Yeah.
What does your fundraising look like?
To do this?
Yeah, to do all of that. Like, how do you fundraise for?
So basically, most of it's from. So we have 3 dances a year. We have homecoming, and then we have our glow dance, which is just like a black light dance, and then we have prom. So from like our ticket sales is basically where we get all of our fundraising. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How many students out of the 1,000 that you have actually come to the homecoming?
Mr. Ryan?
500.
500. So, and that's including like guests, but yeah. Mm-hmm.
How did you incorporate getting donations for the Caribbean into your Spirit Week?
So that was like the Tropical Tuesday, like that, and then Miss Faradia.
They were also entered into a chance to win homecoming tickets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like whoever like donated the most like got homecoming tickets. So we had like a lot of participation from our student body for that. And then like the days as well, like I said, like Movie Monday, like because it was like that, and then just like we talked about it as well, like about what was going on. Mm-hmm.
How long are your pep rallies? Like,
We started at 1:15 and we ended 2:45, so an hour and 30 minutes.
Good job, thank you. Okay, next up we have Kettle Run High School, and we have Sarah, Madison, and Harper, and many more. Yeah, come on up. Let's give them a round of applause.
Okay, hi everyone, thanks for having us. We're Kettle Run High School. Okay, so we have a couple student stats for you guys so that you can see how we look on paper. So this is our gender breakdown. So we have 53% male and 47% female, and we also have just over 1,000 students. We're a pretty small school. We're about 45 minutes outside of DC, so... All right, so our student diversity breakdown, you can see that we are a very high majority of white students. So we're not a very diverse student population by any stretch of the imagination. Okay, so our socioeconomic background, most of us are, we're very average. We have a lot of middle class students, but we have about
7% that are on the free lunch program, which is a program in our school where the students who can't afford to buy lunch are given free lunch from the county. And then we have 1% on the reduced lunch, which means that they can only pay half price for their lunches. And then, so 8% of our students are economically disadvantaged, which is pretty low for us.
So our probably biggest club we have at Kettle Run, we're up to about 90 members this year, is the Student Council Association, SCA. I know a bunch of you have it, SCA, SGA. So we do a lot. Obviously the main things, the dances, homecoming, prom. But during homecoming, we have the homecoming week like y'all who just presented do. And we actually are proud to say we just had our first parade in about 10 years this year. So we're excited to keep that tradition going and implement some of the ideas you guys shared with us to make it better. So we do the homecoming, all that shebang every year. So something we do to bring our community together is called Trunk or Treat. It's basically a big Halloween event for the youth of our community. So what we do is we invite all the clubs and organizations at our school to have a kind of booth or like trunk in our student parking lot. And so they decorate it. You can see the pictures down here. They decorate it like a theme, like sometimes you have Star Wars, movie heroes, villains, and kids come and it's free admission. It's just to bring the community together and give them opportunity to see what we have to offer at Kettle Run. And then we have a talent show, of course, every year, and that's just, to show people what talents people may have. Like, obviously we have a lot of singers, but we also have like really crazy, diverse stuff. Like last year, a girl balanced a huge 10-foot ladder on her chin. Just like really fun stuff to bring the student body together. And then the Powder Puff game, as y'all mentioned earlier, it's a game with the juniors versus the seniors. It's an annual thing, except different from what y'all do. The seniors always win in our school. They always find a way to dominate. So that's a Student Council Association. The three of us are actually officers in the Executive Council, so we do a lot with that. Okay, now back to the diversity aspect. So as we mentioned before, we are like 80% white. I heard someone say Wonder Bread. You're very right. But something we try to do to kind of balance, we are, it's just our demographics. But something we try to do to make up for that is be culturally aware, have diversity. So we have a lot of opportunities to learn a lot of different languages. So my personal experience with the language department of Kettle Run, when I was a freshman, I took Spanish too, as like a lot of us do, and I hated my teacher. Like she was terrible. Like I was like, we're never gonna be friends. She's now like my best friend. So she pushed me so hard, and I was like, wow, like this is kind of fun. And then she was like, hey, we have a Spanish exchange program. So I ended up going to Spain on a foreign exchange program, which is another awesome program we have at Kettle Run. We can go to Spain. The list is on the right: Spain, France, Germany, Wales, and Costa Rica. So I was able to go to Spain for 2 weeks last year, and I loved it so much, fell so in love with the family, I ended up going back for a month this year on my own. So that's just one of the many opportunities we have. We have Spanish, French, German, Arabic, and Latin taught at our school, not like online classes. Like we were able to learn Arabic from a native Egyptian, which is an amazing thing. Yeah, so we try to be culturally aware and diverse through learning about other cultures and languages.
Okay, so Model United Nations, I know some schools here do have Model UN, but in our school it's a really big deal, and to the kids who do it, we invest a lot of time. So basically, if you don't know what it is, it's modeling the United Nations, and we go and we debate real world topics. Sometimes they're more fun and lighthearted, but other situations can deal with the LGBTQ community, femicide, and other very serious conversations that the world is having right now. So for the people who are involved in that club, we invest our time, we do research, we talk about things that are happening globally, and we have communications with other schools about it, and we try and come to a solution. Through this club, I know my own insight has been broadened incredibly. I'm very fortunate to have been a part of this and to continue to be a part of this, and I strongly suggest that any school that does not have anything to do with Model UN right now, I strongly encourage you to go out and try and invest yourself in this club, because it makes you a better person, you become more globally aware, and your conversation skills skyrocket. So these are some of the pictures that we have. GMU, UVA conferences this week, and I know a few people here are going. And we win awards. We do pretty well. We are a smaller school in terms of going to these competitions, but we do pretty well. And then we have Interact Club. So Interact Club, works to better the community. This past year we cleaned up the courtyard, so we have new furniture, and it's more of a thing that we can all chill out and just kind of hang around the school. But the club is amazing at working with everyone at school and the community, and they pick projects and better the school itself, and a lot of times it does reach out to the elementary schools, and a lot of kids get involved. One big thing that Interact is doing this year is shelter boxes. So basically what's inside of the shelter box is tents and supplies, and what we're doing now is raising money and trying to obtain as many of these as we can so we can send them to hurricane victims, and anywhere else that we find is going to be the most impactful place for these boxes to go. Cornhole for a Goal was a thing that Interact did this year during our fall pep rally season. It was a great fundraiser, and kids just signed up, we had a team, and then all the money went into the shelter boxes. Multicultural club. So our school is not super diverse, but the foreign language program has connected so many people with cultures around the world. I started studying Arabic when I was 10 years old, and since beginning it with the Star Talk program, which the NSA founded, I now have the opportunity to study Arabic in my high school. Because of that, I am so much more globally aware, and I am the vice president with our multicultural club, and it's a really fun club, nothing too serious. What we do is we pick a culture, we bring in food every other Thursday, and we come together, learn trivia, just kind of study the culture on our own, even if we're not from that particular area.
Okay, so speaking in terms of big picture, we're all Virginia students. So this year, the Virginia Department of Education implemented a program called the Profile of a Virginia Graduate. I'm not sure how many of you guys know about it, so I'll give you a quick rundown. Basically, what they said is standardized testing is not helping our students. So in saying that, they decided that we're going to take away standardized testing at lower levels so students aren't growing up just bombarded by testing. So ultimately what ended up happening is this is enacting for the freshman class next year. So there's going to be more collaboration between students, more face-to-face. In regards to testing, in eliminating their standardized testing, there's going to be more like assessment type things, which means it's going to be an opportunity for a student to do a project instead of a test in order to prove that they've learned the material required. Okay, so the main thing that happened with this program is they implemented the 5 C's. So the 5 C's are communication, collaboration, critical thinking, creativity, and citizenship. So all of these clubs that we have presented to you guys today, we picked because we felt that they all fell under at least one of these things. For communication, Model UN has gone so far for all of our public speaking skills. There's 4 of us on the stage right now that are involved in Model UN. Collaboration, all of the clubs we've mentioned collaborate highly to like a degree where we're meeting twice, maybe 3 times a week in order to get things done, especially for SCA during the homecoming week. We were meeting like 3 or 4 times after school to try to get everything to pull together. Critical thinking is trickier to implement in schools actively, I feel like. So with critical thinking, once again, I'm going to go back to Model UN and the foreign language. More foreign language on this one because foreign language really helps students in order to like put all the pieces together. And then creativity, multicultural, to help people pull in all of those different aspects of the world. And then citizenship, we feel that all of these clubs have really exemplified citizenship. Not only being a global citizen, as is the theme of this conference, but even being just like a citizen in your community, because that's just as important as being a global citizen. So I think that's all we have for you guys today. Are there any questions?
We have time for one question.
So with your foreign exchange program, is that funded by the school? Like, are the trips paid for by the school?
So no, to answer your question, the trips are not paid for by the school. They're paid for by like companies like you heard, like EF Travels earlier. We also use a la carte, but basically they reach out to our county and give us opportunities to have, I think it's like 5-ish students. We have 3 high schools in our county.
So students don't have to pay for the trip?
Students do have to pay, but you're able to get scholarships based on like your need and skill level in the language. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Okay, so now we have students from Millbrook High School, Melanie, Evie, Anika, Abby, and Nicole. Let's give them a round of applause.
Can we have our volunteers come up? Okay, so today we're going to talk about how we're connected, how we feel we're connected locally and globally. And to demonstrate this, we're going to do a little activity. So come on onto the stage. I'm going to put the mic down. So, can everyone see I have a ball? So what I'm going to do is stand on one end. Everyone come together and hold hands. And I'm going to hold one end of the ball. And as we come together, and my friend touches the other side of the ball, you see that the ball lights up. But when, okay, sorry. So we're connected. And then when we let go, it doesn't glow up. So this demonstrates connections. Thank you, volunteers. You guys can go back. This demonstrates how essential it is to be connected within ourselves. And so this presentation is how we feel we're connected as a school and around the world. We just did that. Sorry.
Okay, so one of our big events, as in many of your schools too, is our pep rally every year before our homecoming game. Usually, in the past years, our pep rallies have been kind of dead and they've been really low participation. But this past year, we initiated a sing-along where we sat one day after school and from the advice of our peers, we assigned each grade level a song or 2 songs to sing. And all of a sudden, as we started playing the music and telling people to sing along, they were really well-known songs, the entire gym just lit up. I mean, you could see the look in people's faces as they were dancing and singing with their peers. And if you look at the photos on it's your right, my left, hand side of the screen, you can see people start taking out their cell phones and doing like the flashlight thing. And it was just really cool to see as a school how we could come together and, you could really feel the community within it.
We also have a teacher that does the EF tours. So this summer he took a bunch of students to Peru, and then we're going to China this summer, and then Italy and Greece in 2 years. And each as soon as the kids come up into high school, they have a meeting if anyone's interested in doing the EF tours. And so he goes all around the world taking all these students on the tours just to get them more culturally aware.
Okay, so right when you walk into our school, there are these flags, and they just represent where all of our students, where they're from each of the countries that they're from. And the really cool thing is, each year they change based off the new students that are coming and the students that graduated. And then these are just some of the country flags where they're from. And it just shows how we come from all these different backgrounds and all these different countries, but we come together in one school. Are there any questions?
Thank you, guys. Okay, if you are a group that needs to leave at 2 and you think you need to get going, you can slide out quietly right now. But next up, we have Osborne High School. Looks like you've got a big group of y'all, but Leon and Vanessa, too.
Yeah, Leon!
Let's give them a round of applause.
Yeah, Leon! Woo!
I don't even know Leon, but I like Leon. Leon is good. Hey, Leon. Leon, where's the fanny pack? Dude, Leon, I love Yeah, we ready?
Okay, hello, I'm Leon Sunka, SCA President of Osborne High School.
And I'm Vanessa, and I'm SEA Vice President of Osborne High School. Today we're going to be talking to you guys about a project I heard it mentioned earlier. It's called We Are, and this was a huge success at our school. Probably the most successful project that we've had so far. And we got this idea from VHSL last year.
So what it is a wall consisting of posters made by students, faculty, members, and what it is they voice their identity to our group.
So we started this out in the leadership class at our high school, and it started out with just the leadership students making it, and so this is the leadership students making it. But then as the wall started growing, people were really interested and they wanted to do one of their own. So that's when we set a date for after school, and this is when you can see here, we just set a date and we had paint and everything like that, and they came and we had a huge success. Like a lot of students came, we weren't expecting it. I think we actually ran out of paint or paint brushes, something like that, and the leadership class hung them up, which was a pain, but it was worth it to see how happy it made the students.
This project was popular because every student, club, and faculty member had the opportunity to share their voice with these posters.
Okay, and so these are a few of the posters that were up, and it's only a little bit, so as you can see, they were all the way to the end of the wall. This is a door, and then this is the other side of the wall, and this is the door that's right there. So it was a huge wall, probably longer than this. And it's just, we brought this here today because we brought this here today because it's important to be aware and to accept everybody at our school. We're a very diverse school, but I feel like not everybody is as accepting. And this project really brought us together as one school instead of the cliques or the freshman class, sophomore class. We were all Osborne.
So this is how you guys can do this, and in your pamphlets, I also put down the steps for you guys to look at. So first things first is to find an empty location where you guys can hang your posters. Like Vanessa said, we have a back hallway where the gyms are, and it's just an empty wall, and that's where we chose to hang the posters. Second is to prepare your banners by writing "We Are" on it. So the "We Are" should be kind of small because we want the words that they're going to write to be big and be able to be read. Third of all is to set a date, location, and time for your students and faculty to make a poster. Fourth is to have paint, plates, brushes, and paper towels for your students and people to use. And then lastly is to advertise your event. We did this by tweeting it out on our SCA Twitter, and we also had it running through the announcements as well.
So this was the wall before. It's a panorama, so it's kind of hard to visualize, but it was a huge wall. And this was only one of the walls we did. I think we did 3 or 4 walls just like this. They were up close, like overlapping. And there were some posters that we couldn't put up because we had no more space to put them. And so that's it. And so right now what we're going to do really quickly is I think some people handed out some cards. So we would like you guys to write down a word that describes you, your school's SEA, and then pass them to the innards. And either Emma or Tiffany will pick them up, and we're going to put them on this board here because we are VSUP. Any questions? Okay. Thank you. So we're going to talk right now. They're going to give up.
Yeah, after we decide that we're getting married. Put Christian.
Make sure that they're together.
They're gonna be really confused when they read it. Make sure you're I like the I'm your team. No, not like that. We're not yes. That's so dear.
All right, guys. So that's all we've got for the Share Fair presentation. Let's give everyone one more round of applause.